I also won't keep you for too long either. I feel like I'm the thing that's holding you back from a final festive drink before going home. Or is it a bit too early for a drink? I don't know. 11 o'clock? Nah. So today, press the right button would be helpful. We're talking about failure to prevent fraud. Or, if this works, hello? Or as I like to put it, failure to prevent fraud, what the fuck? Has anyone heard of this new offence called failure to prevent fraud? Okay. Well, I'll take you through the basics of it. But when we look at the legal landscape here in the UK, when it comes to financial crime and fraud, there's a whole load of different acts. There's a whole lot of different regulations depending on what sector you're operating within. And so the whole thing can be really quite confusing. So I'll keep things very simple. We'll take a look at the Fraud Act and we'll take a look at the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency. A bit of a mouthful. We'll take a look at that act as well, and that's where this new offence comes from. So, very simply, organisations can be held criminally liable if they do not have anything in place to prevent fraud from occurring. At the moment, it applies to larger businesses. So if your turnover is over 36 million, or you've got 18 million on your balance sheet, or you've got 250 plus employees, you need to meet two of these three thresholds. And so you're probably thinking, well, why the hell are you telling us then? Because we're all startups here. So how is this relevant to me? We've seen a similar pattern over the last few years with other pieces of legislation, like the Bribery Act. Although the Bribery Act, again, applies to larger businesses, if you're part of the supply chain to a larger business, they're going to push this down upon you. And so although it appears that this of no relevance to us, actually it is. Penalties can be substantial, unlimited fines, and then obviously the reputational damage that goes along with the bad press, and then ongoing scrutiny. So, my phone is locked, which is not helpful. Next.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Which body is responsible for managing this? Does this sit within the ICO or does it sit elsewhere?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I'll look it up and let you know. I have to admit that when it comes to some of the details, I've got so much swimming in my head at the moment that I'm getting lost. So if I'm getting lost, then you lot will definitely get lost as well. What I do know is that there are specific law firms who specialise in economic crime and fraud, and I fully intend to get them to give us their view as to how things are developing here. What are the test cases that are coming through the courts, or are there any test cases coming through the courts, and the outcomes of those, because that really will inform how seriously we need to take the new piece of legislation. So, as I said, it's a case of this doesn't really apply to us, but let's turn it on its head. I'm a bit of a fan of RoboCop here, so it feels like we're constantly being bombarded with new regulations and that we need to comply super quickly. That's not actually the case, in my experience, provided you have and can demonstrate you have a plan in place and you're enacting upon that plan. You don't necessarily need to be fully compliant immediately. It can be a journey. But where I wanted to bring this as a competitive advantage to everyone here is that if you do and can demonstrate your compliance, then it actually opens up more opportunities for you. So you actually get a win-win. You get a win because you're protecting your own organisation from being a victim of fraud. You're protecting your staff and yourselves individually, because there's a lot of blurring of the lines when it comes to fraud that happens against individuals as much as it happens against businesses. So you've got to win by educating your staff, being compliant, and then opening up the new possibilities of collaborating or becoming part of the supply chain for those larger organisations that will want to see some demonstration of your business being compliant before they will actually contract with you or allow you to become a supplier. So a lot of this overlaps into the world of cybersecurity, and so a lot of our time at Race, and I'll introduce you to what I'm doing with Race in the next few slides. We do spend a lot of time looking at and examining cybersecurity. It's inevitable we all are online. We have websites, we have systems, even just reporting our tax is now online. So, there's a lot of vulnerabilities that are out there. But it's not rocket science. And the reason I say this is because one of our members of my team is a former rocket scientist. How did she move from rocket scientry to cybersecurity? Well, she had her research stolen by cyber criminals. And so in the course of trying to recover her stolen research, she ended up switching careers from being a rocket scientist to being a cybersecurity expert. And so we run awareness and training events with this rocket scientist. She's Russian as well, but that shouldn't worry you. She's living in the UK and is fully supportive of Ukraine. So hopefully one day you'll also meet her. She'll come up to present here sometime in the future as well. So how can you demonstrate a level of compliance? You may be familiar with ISO 27001, 27K. That's a security standard, and it is far too heavyweight for small businesses. It's far too detailed, and it's not designed to be deployed into small businesses like ours. However, there is a government-backed scheme called Cyber Essentials, and this is like a cut-down version of the ISO standard that is highly applicable to small businesses. There are two levels of certificate. The basic Cyber Essentials is a self-certification. So the program materials will take you through what are the basics that you should have in place, and then you can self-certify. If you want the next level up, called Cyber Essentials Plus, then an external company will come and actually review your security and your level of compliance. So the advantage of this is that by becoming compliant, you'll also be given a certain amount of cyber insurance. So the scheme comes with cyber insurance. It allows you to then display the symbol to demonstrate that you're compliant to your customers. So again, this is another way that you can attract more business by publicly declaring and demonstrating that you take cybersecurity and fraud prevention seriously.
I did Cyber Essentials Plus in my previous role, which was a SME that did blood testing.
Yeah.
Because ISO 2700 is right, it was too much for us at the scale of business.
Yeah.
But actually, by having Cyber Essentials Plus when COVID hit, meant that was considered enough of a check for us to get NHS contracts for the first time.
Yeah.
So it was, you know,
Yeah.
it was a really good stepping stone.
Absolutely, and if you want to work with the government on any project, they will expect this as a minimum.
Yeah.
So again, you're both protecting your organisation and opening up new opportunities. Okay, so it's a win-win. I can happily take you through the scheme sometime. I can put you in touch with the partners of ours who do the certification. Sorry, you're about to say something?
I can't remember how much it cost, I'll dig it out.
It's not much.
No.
It's not much.
It's just for the base.
It was a few thousand for the plus.
Yeah, it'll be even less for the basics. There's an online portal, and it's mainly to cover the costs of the online verification and access to that portal.
Yeah.
It's a few hundred. I can double check after this as well, because again, I'm a couple of years out of date with pricing.
Yeah, it's really cheap. £320 is back for micro businesses, 0 to 9 employees.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so really small.
Yeah. And if you need help in going through it, I'm happy to help, or a member of my team would be happy to help. A few warnings for current trends that I am seeing. We're all using AI one way or another, or we will be if we're not already. But this also is a double-edged sword. There are a lot of AI-enabled frauds occurring right now. There is a trend at the moment, it's called the burger scam. And that is, you go to a posh burger joint, take a bite into your burger, take a photo, and then you ask AI to make it look undercooked. You then post that on social media demanding a full refund. Now, this is actually trending, so it's actually something that people are commonly doing, and it's obviously hitting small businesses quite hard. How does a small business really set themselves up to detect that this is going and it's not a genuine claim? So that's the burger scam. I'm sure you're familiar with the deep fake scams, videos of allegedly Martin Lewis that aren't Martin Lewis offering dodgy crypto advice and the like. The other one to watch out for if you have a team and your team are submitting expenses is that staff are generating fake receipts using AI and then submitting them as expenses and pocketing the money. Now, I would hope this wouldn't happen to SMEs because we tend to know our staff very, very well, but it certainly is a known issue that's happening at the moment. So I just wanted to make you aware of these as a couple of trends. I started 3 months ago this new company called Risk and Compliance Events, and what we do is we bring together thought leaders in various different areas of risk management and compliance. We've run our first set of events. We had a Halloween networking event at Alia Casino. I've had a Christmas networking event here in Nottingham and in London, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff planned for the coming year. So, beginning with our first networking event for 2026. So we're going to be back at Alia Casino. You're more than welcome to come along. It's an open networking, so it won't all be entirely made of cybersecurity and fraud geeks like me. There will be some other people as well. But alongside that, with our partners, we have access to a wealth of knowledge. So, for example, VigiTrust are experts in payments compliance, PCI DSS. Credit Safe for accessing credit data on companies. Campus XR, they are a startup looking at education in virtual reality. There's an annual conference that we've partnered with on fraud. Vendorcom work a lot across payments, identity and verification. B2B fraud forums with Callisto Grand. The Conscious Music Code, that's about health and well-being. A lot of us working in cybersecurity and in counter fraud are in very high stress roles, and too many of us end up falling off through bad mental health. So we're doing some events specifically to tackle that issue. So the way that we've set things up is we have a number of different special interest groups. We've got UK regional, and so this one here, the Midlands and the North. About to launch the group in Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales. And then next year we're also going international. We've got events in Ireland, Italy, Poland, UAE and USA. And then we've got topical interest groups. So as I mentioned earlier, B2B, payments, fraud, education, artificial intelligence, anti-money laundering, data protection, and so on. A few confirmed events for next year. I won't go through this, you can look at it in your own time. If you would like to join our mailing list, then you'll get notification of all the events that we're running. Some of them will be pure training and awareness events as well, so where today we've only scratched the surface on the legislation, we will run events that will do a deep dive into the various bits of legislation and regulation and compliance. We've got our first conference in February, which is Cybersecurity in Education, and that's being held at Bradfield College, which is a boarding school near Reading. It's a bit like Hogwarts there. They invited us to set this up as the first in an annual series of conferences to bring together thought leaders within the educational sector. It's actually split into two halves. The first half we're going to be looking at information technology and mental health. So this ties in back to the Conscious Music Code, but also some other partners who offer some really great services when it comes to raising awareness of mental health, how to tackle and deal with mental health issues in the workplace. The second half is about artificial intelligence and how it's being used and deployed within education. A major topic at the moment is pupils handing in their homework using AI, but not declaring that they've used AI. So schools are now using AI to detect whether their pupils are using AI, and it's coming up sometimes with false positives. And this then causes conflicts between the pupils, the teachers, and the parents. So we're going to be taking a look at, well, what's best practice here? What policies should be put in place? How can we educate staff and pupils about safe use of AI? And if we're not teaching kids how to use AI, then we're not teaching properly, because if you're not educated in it, by the time you graduate, you're going to be at a major disadvantage. And I'm also treating this event as my proper company launch. So everything that I've done up until now has been kind of like a warm-up, soft launch. So February sees us announcing ourselves to the world a bit more loudly. So that's all I wanted to say today, really. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer them, or I'll be in this little room if anyone wants to talk privately. But yeah, I hope that's been helpful, useful, and I wish you all a safe and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I know you asked a few throughout as well. No? We good? Perfect.
Excellent.